Hello everybody, Nick McDonald here. Thank you for joining us this week for the ICE commentary on the US dollar index and currency markets. We have the dollar index on the screen here and it's a daily chart, and I've zoomed right out because normally when we're looking at this we're zooming right in on these charts, and I've got these levels drawn in, but we can't really see them in much perspective. So I just thought it'd be useful today to start with the zoomed out picture right here so you can see why I've got all these lines drawn on the chart, where I have, why I consider them to be major support and resistance levels, and where you can see all the times where price has been interacting with and touching these levels and finding support and resistance off these levels. This continues to be where the bulk of my trading is taking place, around these levels on the dollar index, and I've had some great trades there over the last months, in fact over the last few years, just trading off these levels, but it's become more and more and more apparent as we've been kind of in this range bound market. So since around about, after coming down here in a nice downtrend all the way downward, since what are we talking around about May? So May, June, July, all the way through now to November, we've been very much range bound with very little direction, and that has led to much more trading off support and resistance levels than it did just trading off moving average zones like it was on the way back down through here. This is my preferred time to be trading. Nice clear direction, nice pullbacks into moving averages, beautiful trading conditions, but now we have to trade what we've got, and most of my trades here are coming off the support and resistance zones. Let's zoom right back in here and just have a little look here, and we go, all right, price broke up through 7600, looks like it just kept on going up, looks like it didn't even stop for a breather. Let's just come and have a look at what happened there at 7600 on a lower time frame for a moment. So this is the 15-minute chart, and this is the day we came right up. So this is 7600 right here, this blue line came right up, smashed through 76, absolutely ignored it, but then we came back and we pulled into it on many occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 times. This is over a good few hours, being these are 15-minute candles, and we came back in and continually found support at 76. In fact, the low tick of almost all 4 of those touches was almost right on 76. I think one of them got to 75.99. So nice pullbacks in, and that's where these levels are giving us good opportunities. So for example, back here, if you had been shorting as price pulled back into 76, suddenly you're trading against the momentum of the market, which is just really changed here on news. But to then suddenly wait for a price to break above and pull back into these levels, you're now trading off a key level and a big number. There was also a pivot point there, and also you've got the momentum of the market now behind you. So this is the kind of trading I'm looking to do, the kind of trading I've been doing for months, and the kind of trading that I'll continue to do. Let's come and have a little look, if we zoom right in on the current price action and have a look at the closest levels that price is around right now. Well, we're around 77, so we're close to 77. You can see that price has been interacting with it, not absolutely perfectly, and on a couple of occasions it's been quite precise, but there's no clear trend here, so it also becomes a little bit more difficult to trade off 7700 when there's less trend direction. So what kind of thing am I looking for? I'm looking for moves out of this range and then pulls back into it. So for example, a good move down from 77 and then a pull back into it in the direction of the new trend would be the kind of trade I'll be looking for around these levels. Let's just come back and have a look at the daily chart. Yet last week when I was down here, I was expecting to pull back into this moving average zone. What I didn't expect was for it to happen within around about 1 or 2 hours of me putting the video out there. So within 1 or 2 hours, there was news out of Greece and the market came right back up. Now, it's a very interesting situation out of Greece right now, and it's becoming more and more and more so that it's having an impact on my trading personally. And the reason is, and I said this on the Russell 2000 video, I'll say it here again in case you only watch the dollar index video. But what we're having is when there's good news coming out of Greece, we're having stocks up and dollar down. When there's bad news coming out of Greece, we're having dollar up and stocks down. So it's the inverse is happening across the two. And the thing is, we don't really know what's going to happen. Now, this reminds me back of a time when I was trading gold and oil stocks back pre-Iraq war. And I remember when the weapons inspectors were going into Iraq, and one day Saddam Hussein's playing Mr. Nice Guy, he'll let everybody in. Gold and oil would fall. But the next day he's playing hardball and saying there's no way in the world I'm letting anybody in, and gold and oil were going up. And this was kind of like, back and forth, up and down like a yo-yo, but all based pretty much on what Saddam Hussein was saying. He could virtually control the gold and oil markets based on whether he wanted to let weapons inspectors in or not. And my trading back then was very choppy because it was based on that kind of stuff. And it's the same right now. It depends on what the Greek Prime Minister and the Greek Parliament do. So one day there is a bailout package and we have the market's going in one direction. The next day they're going to have a vote for a referendum to vote on whether they accept that or not. The markets go the opposite direction. In the next few days they're suddenly saying, well, we might get rid of the Prime Minister. We don't want to go ahead with that vote, and then the markets are swinging back the other way. So right now, I don't know what will happen there. I'm not going to try and predict, but I do know that there's likely to be a lot more of this back and forth, like a yo-yo choppiness, while we see what happens as the Greek situation gets resolved. So right now, my preferred trading is definitely to be off these levels, off key levels, 77, 76, 78, the closest ones to the action right now. But I don't care how far price moves and which levels I trade off. I'll be looking to trade off any of these, but I'm looking at much more at intraday trading. Do I have a swing trade view? Yeah, I'm still slightly down. So as I was last week, last week I was probably a little bit more bearish as I was looking for price to pull back into this zone. We've actually pulled back there quite nicely, a little bit further than I would have expected, but we've pulled back in. The candles have turned bearish. So if anything, I'd be looking for a move down, and some trades around 76 would provide really nice opportunity. A continuation down seems slightly less likely until we've got, like I say, some clarification of what the end result will be in Greece. But still, nonetheless, regardless of how far this price moves, this is how I'm trading at. These are the key levels I'm looking to trade at. And that's why, as well, with a risk attached to a swing trade position, any position over days or weeks, that is why I'm more focused on intraday trading, where I'm taking away some of that risk of news, and it's less likely to affect my trade on an hour-by-hour basis than it is if I was looking to trade on a week-by-week basis. Let's have a look at it next week, and we'll assess it. We'll keep a close eye on this Greek situation and see, as and when that does get results, we can start to look back at the charts with just a much more technical view and less of a risk of news view. Hope that helps everybody. Have a wonderful week's trading, and I'll speak to you again next week.